I want to share with you something that has been going on with myself, another colleague of mine, and an 18-year-old, very athletic, fit, talented kid. And it's very sad, but it has a very happy ending as well. So I'm going to read you a text that he sent me. It's all, nobody will be able to know who this kid is. But he texted me and he goes, "Have you heard of anyone having this kind of experience of extreme separation and detachment? I legit feel like I'm out of my body and everything happening around me isn't real life." And I wrote back, "Yes, I have. And I have colleagues as well who are experts with this. I'll reach out." He texted back, "Okay, thank you. I'll be honest, I'm scared right now and any help is much appreciated." I wrote back, "I got you. Believe that." So when we have these moments, and a lot of us have some degree of this, right? We have moments of, extreme agitation, or extreme sadness, or, anxiety, or just, flatness, and we're just dull. We have all these feelings going on in our bodies, and we evaluate ourselves based upon that emotion. And if we're sad, we feel kind of worthless. If we're agitated, we feel like we got to lash out, but at the same time, we're upset with ourselves that we're so agitated, but we can't control it. And then you think, I'm such a bad person because I'm always agitated. Or if you have these feelings of detachment, like you're not in your own body, you think that you're some psycho and you're just some nut job. And people are going to make fun of you, and it just really saddens you, and it makes you clueless. And then what happens? You go to the doctors, and the doctors say, "Hey, let's run all these labs." And they run all these labs, they do some scans, and they're like, "Oh, everything comes back normal. We can't find anything wrong. So go see the psychiatrist. I think you need to be put on antidepressants." That was the solution for this kid. Thankfully, the kid reached out. He's a friend of the family. And so we've been helping him. And I said, "Look, I know we can help you." And we have. So I reached out to a good, dear friend, a colleague of mine, Dr. Jess Armin. And I was on the phone quickly with him. And he goes, "This sounds like a very high dopamine situation. And so if it's a high dopamine situation, we need to modulate that. And sometimes you can modulate that by supporting serotonin, and serotonin levels can be really low." And honestly, that was not my first take. My first take was high dopamine, yes. Neuroinflammation and the brain just excitatory and just going crazy. So my first instinct was to just calm it and quiet it down. And Dr. Armin was like, "Well, I've experienced this personally with many patients. Let's try, 5-HTP. We tried 5-HTP, 150 milligrams or so, and it helped the kid. He did 100 milligrams, and it helped him. And so my point with this is, when we have these emotions or these feelings of detachment or this anxiety or this irritability, that is your brain chemicals firing. That is not you. One of the best things I ever learned in clinic was when I walked in. I was sitting there as a student clinician, listening to the primary clinician and the supervising health doctor talk with this patient about the condition that they were struggling with. I don't remember what it was. Is there thyroid, or if there was cancer, or emotional imbalance? I don't remember what it was. But what he said was brilliant, and I'm going to butcher it. But basically he said, "Look, what you are experiencing right now is because your body is in imbalance. It's not in harmony. It has nothing to do with who you are as a person. It has nothing to do with, your name." He said their name. It has nothing to do with Ben or whatever the person's name was. You are you. We just need to support your body and get you there. But your soul, everything, your energies, that what you is you. We just need to support your overall body and the mechanisms and the biochemistry of what's going on within it. And of course, he said it way more beautifully than I did. But bottom line is this kid was detached. We supported him with biochemistry. And thankfully, I know quite a bit of genes. He's doing some genetic testing now as well. We're able to dial it in even more. So, and then I asked his father, I said, look, is there anything like this in his family? And he goes, funny you should ask. I just found out actually last week, but that this is kind of in our family and on the father's side and the grandfather and my father and so on. And he goes, yeah, this is definitely in our history. So when it's in your history, that doesn't mean you're going to be struggling with it, but it means that you should know your genetics and be able to look into it and to see which genes are dirty. And if they're born dirty, are they working more slowly or faster, or what have you? And in this situation, I'm suspecting his dopamine genes are probably forming dopamine quickly. The ability to clear dopamine is slower. His ability to transport dopamine is faster. His ability to bind dopamine is more sensitive. And his ability to clear out dopamine is slower. And then his ability for serotonin, I'm suspecting his ability to clear it out is a bit slower because we gave him the 5-HTP and it helped him. And then after a few days of it, got him feelings of anxiousness. And I said, okay, well, if you're having feelings of anxiousness from the 5-HTP, stop. It looks like, we got your 5-HTP, in your system to the point where your serotonin levels are now healthier levels. Now it's time to stop because our serotonin levels are not clearing out. So let's hold off on that. And actually the 5-HTP, one of the days gave him feelings of anxiousness. And then I recommended, I said, okay, if that's happening, not only do you stop it, but consider lithium orotate. And he took some lithium orotate and that really just leveled him back out again and helped. So anytime you are taking 5-HTP and it gives you, great feelings, that's awesome. Good. Now, if you're taking too much, as I talked about last night, or on my previous post, if you're taking a supplement and it's helping you, but you keep taking it beyond, so this kid's feelings of anxiety reduced on a certain amount of 5-HTP for a period of time, and then he continued to take the 5-HTP, and now that 5-HTP, when it got rid of the support of the anxiety, now it actually triggered the anxiety. And you're like, well, why would that happen? Well, low serotonin can increase anxiety. High serotonin can increase anxiety. So you need that sweet spot. And I know it's confusing. I know it sounds like, damn it, I wish it was easier. So do I. Because as a health professional, it's, I was on the fence. It's like, man, I don't really want to give this kid 5-HTP. I want to give him something else. I actually wanted to start out using lithium orotate. And, but, I trusted my gut. I trusted Dr. Amin. And so we gave him the 50 milligrams of HTP, pulled him out, helped him. And then he kept taking it and he took it to the point where he didn't need it anymore. It increased his anxiousness. So then I said, take the lithium neutralized it. Now he's going to learn when he has feelings of what he originally had, can take the 5-HTP. When those feelings go away, stop taking it. If he takes too much 5-HTP and he starts getting anxiousness again from too much 5-HTP, he can help support those levels with lithium. So, but if you look at genetic testing, you can understand more of what's going on biochemically because you actually have a map of yourself of the neurotransmitters in his brain. Now, I don't have the dopamine here on my table, but this is like the folate pathway, for example. You can see these round circles here. These are genes, right? These bubbles are genes, and you can see these purple lines. So this individual's folate metabolism, their ability to bind and transport folate is slower than down here. The ability to transform tetrahydrofolate into more active forms of folate is even slower. And then their MTHFR is slow. So you can see this individual's folate pathway, their whole folate pathway is sluggish, their entire folate pathway. So we talk about folic acid all the time, but that individual really needs to eat leafy greens. They need to eat protein. They need to eat, avoid folic acid and so on. But with the serotonin map that this kid's going to soon get, we're going to be able to tell how is serotonin is being synthesized, eliminated, transported, and bind to receptors, also with dopamine, norepinephrine, epi, also histamine, also glutathione, and so on. So if what you want to do is dive into your genetics more and not look at disease causing stuff, because we don't look at disease causing things. Strategy, okay? You get strategic information, you get maps, and you figure out what the heck is going on, at least genetically, so you can make more strategic decisions. And I'm excited for this kid's genetic test to come back, because I'll have a map. I'll be not driving a little bit blind. I equate genetic testing to you sitting in the driver's seat and you have no idea what kind of vehicle you're driving. You're just driving it. And you can't tell what tires you have. You can't tell what engine you have. You don't see what the chassis is. You know nothing about your car. And you've been driving this car, on country roads your whole life. And it's been bumpy. It's been super uncomfortable. You're getting stuck all the time. And just kind of equate that to your life. And then one day you're allowed to step out of your vehicle, walk 10 steps, turn around and look at the car. And you look at it, you're like, holy crap, that's a Ferrari. I've been driving a Ferrari my whole life. Well, yeah, you're driving a Ferrari on a country road with potholes and dirt and rocks and, uneven terrain and mud holes. And it's not working very well for you, is it? So if somebody backs you up a little bit, says, hey, you're driving a Ferrari on a country road, let's put you on highways or let's put you on paved roads, and now you're smooth sailing throughout your life. That's what genetic testing can do, is once you know what type of blueprint you have of what types of, what the genes are producing for you, then you can make decisions and drive your body where it wants to go, because you've never had that ability to look at before. Now you do with genetic testing. Stratagene right now at Seeking Health is $50 off. So $50 off per kit. So there's no coupon needed. You just head over to seekinghealth.com and there's a banner on the top of the website, I believe, where you just type in genetic test or Stratagene and get yourself a kit. And yeah, I just wanted to give you a real life situation of how I use genetic testing, and it's powerful stuff. And again, if you are emotionally, feeling detached, or your emotions are up and down, and if it's related to family history, or if it's found in your family history, genetic testing can be something that can be very, very telling that yes, it's in your family. And then that isn't oh, woe is me, I'm susceptible to it. It should be, damn, I want to know which genes are dirty in my family history, so then I can look at those genes and figure out, oh, my ability to clear dopamine and norepinephrine is really sluggish. What can I do to speed that up? And you can. There's a lot of things you can do. So, it's pretty sweet stuff. So head on over to seekinghealth.com, order Stratagene, and then get all the tools that we have that comes with it. It comes with a copy of Dirty Genes, or some courses, or a lot of reading. And you got to put the work in. This is not easy. We don't give you a full on, this is what you're experiencing, this is what you do to fix it. No, it's a map. And it's like we give you a map of a lot of the biochemistry in your body and your genes in your body, but we don't tell you where to go on vacation and where to stay. You need to look at that map and determine your own course, because there's no way in heck that we can figure out what's going on with you because of epigenetics, your lifestyle, your diet, your food, medications and supplements you're currently taking. It's not possible. Other genetic testing that promises that, they're full of crap. They are. You just can't do that with genetic testing. So we did our best. We did it honestly. We did it truthfully. And we don't paint a rosy picture with Stratagene. It's difficult to learn, but once you do, it's extremely powerful. And if you've ordered Stratagene, comment below on what you think about it, and hopefully it's helped you. And then we have health professionals as well who can help figure it out for you. If you are international or overseas, you can get the Stratagene upload version, which you can use 23andMe or Ancestry to run your raw data and get the pathways, and you can get those immediately. So hope this helps you. There is always something that can be done. Well, I should back up. Not always. A lot of the time, there is stuff that can be done to support your biochemistry to really, really help you out. And that's my job to do so. Take care.